Greetings, everyone. I'm Bryon Smith, and welcome to Enlighten, Empowered, Evolved. I hope everybody's doing well. Wait, I believe everybody's doing well. I have faith that everything is unfolding perfectly, even if we can't see it at first. We can always learn something from everything. I'm excited yet again today. And you hear me say that all the time, and you're going to keep hearing me say that because I'm always excited to have amazing, extraordinary people from around the world here. Just talking to them, like I was just saying prior to this segment, just talking to people from around the world and sharing their amazingness and their uniqueness. And this is no exception. I have a very special guest, Anthea Spark. And before she tells us her story, I'm going to tell us a little bit about. So listen up. You don't want to miss it. Anthea Spark is a soul-centered relationship and intimacy coach. She teaches others about self-love and acceptance and is dedicated to spiritual growth and personal development. She has spent the last 18 years studying different modalities, including psychotherapy, and runs different spiritual and personal development programs. She is dedicated to helping people reconnect to their true essence and create deep and intimate relationships with others by first creating one with themselves. That is important. How are you doing today, Anthea Spark?
I'm really good, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Yes, and thank you for taking time out of your life, out of your schedule, to share a moment with me and be on this platform that I have created just out of just love for growth of myself and reaching out and sharing with others. I believe that time is one of our most precious assets, and I just appreciate it that you're spending some of your time here with me. Thank you very much. So let's just get right into it. Okay. So it says what you sent me. You're a soul-centered relationship and intimacy coach. Let's just start right there. How did that come about?
Okay, so when I was 26, I went and studied soul-centered psychotherapy. And it was at this private school here in Melbourne. The teachers who created the school were clinical psychotherapists. They studied in the States. And when they came back to Melbourne, they created their own school. And so all of their teachings were based on the philosophies of Carl Jung. And what they wanted, Carl Jung.
Okay.
Carl Jung was a student of Sigmund Freud.
Oh, okay.
Right? And he
amazing.
They used to get into a lot of arguments about how to help people. And eventually Carl Jung, he veered off and he started his own modalities, right? So what I teach is based on the philosophies of Carl Jung, and my teachers wanted to incorporate that spiritual aspect into their teaching. And so that's what I did. I went there and I studied there for 4 years. And during that time, because they believed if you were going to help people, you were going to magnetically draw people in who have the same wounds as you, right?
You have I resonate with that, exactly.
Yeah. So you have to do the inner work, otherwise you're going to crumble in their presence and you're not going to be able to help them. Okay. And so for us, they were like, if you're going to be therapists, you have to do the inner work. And so we started to do the inner work, and we would practice on each other, and we would have to see our own psychotherapist as well. And it was such a defining moment, such a defining time for me, because it turned me inside out, right?
That's, if I may just interject just really quick, and that's when the real work and the self-discovery begins.
Yeah. And
yes,
that was just scratching the surface, because what came later on was pretty intense, right? But that taught me how to hold space for people.
Right.
Yeah, which is it is one of the most important tools as a therapist, is to hold space, right? And I think in your relationships as well, with friends, lovers, children, whoever it is, it's really important to understand how to hold space. Yeah, it is one of the greatest gifts you can give another human being, to hold space while they are grieving or experiencing joy or whatever it is, right? This all started really for me when I was 15. I felt, as teenagers, we all go through this depression, right? Hating ourselves and not
everything's
feeling
swirling around in there, and we don't know how to make sense of it.
Yeah, so I
Yes.
would lock myself in my room, and I had a deck of angel cards, and I would play with my angel cards. And I remember purchasing the book by Louise Hay called You Can Heal Your Life.
Right. I
And
have that book.
Yeah, and I would
Yes.
read that book, and I'd read other books by Wayne Dyer, and I would
Love
play
Wayne
with
Dyer.
my cards, and I would connect to the angelic realm. And that was really the beginning of my journey that helped me later on in life, when I really, really needed it. The lessons I learned in my room, the teachings of Louise Hay that I learned.
Love Louise Hay.
Yeah, amazing, right? Thank God for that.
She teaches a lot about self-love, especially through a lot of the adversities that we encounter, because she shares a lot of adversities that she encountered,
Absolutely.
And she's such a sweet woman to have gone through everything that she went through. And then I always tell people she's like someone I would love to read bedtime stories to me. Yeah. Because of her voice and the way she articulates. It's so soothing. It's so soothing. I listen to her on YouTube.
Yeah, she's like our spiritual mother, right?
Yes.
She's the one who started all of this. She's the one that opened the door for the rest of us to walk through. That's what I truly believe. So she got in my head. And later on in life, when I was 35, I'd already had my first daughter at 33. I had Olivia at 33. And then at 35, I had my second daughter, Sophie. And Sophie was the catalyst for the biggest transformation of my life. She's the reason why I am where I am today, right? So after giving birth to Sophie, I was in hospital for 5 days. I had a cesarean, and I was getting ready to come home. And the night before I was due to come home, I woke up in the middle of the night to feed her. And I realized that the whole left side of my face was completely paralyzed. And I thought I'd had a stroke, but it was a condition called Bell's palsy. Wow. And it was the scariest time of my life, right? It threw me into the dark night of the soul, which for me lasted years, right? And I'm still trying to recover from it 6 years on. But it was during that time that I really woke up to how I was living, and how I was living an inauthentic life within myself, how I was suppressing my emotions, and not being honest, and not using my voice to ask for what I want, and not trusting my intuition. And that was the catalyst. That was the catalyst for the work that I do today.
Right. And that's amazing what you just said. What really resonated, everything there. And that's amazing. What really resonated with me is like about the trusting your intuition, because I just spoke to someone earlier, and yesterday I posted up a few things about the intuition, and that it's no coincidence that you just mentioned that right now. So yes, I'll read a couple of them. One of them is: intuition is your soul whispering the truth to your heart and hoping that you hear. Another one is: know your purpose, feel it. When you go off the path, your intuition will guide you back. On sometimes with a tickle, sometimes with a cattle prod, and just things like that. And then since I'm an artist, I really resonated with this one. A good artist lets their intuition lead them wherever it wants. And yeah, so I'm glad that you made reference to that. But yes, that's when that transformation usually really starts, is when we go through. I've noticed from my perspective, including with myself and with other people, that transformation really starts when you end up somewhere in life where you just feel like you're very uncomfortable. And that's when you really start looking inside and looking for answers, and looking for people to inspire you. And that's that start. And as long as you start, you don't have to know the whole way. or each step, things will unfold as you go along. So I think that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. And it, you know, like we're so conditioned to need to know what's coming next.
Right.
Right. Because we're like, I need to know that I'm going to be safe. I need to know I'm going to have control. I need to know I can trust that the direction I'm taking is going to be okay, that we often ignore our intuition, because our intuition often guides us down a path we've never been before. And that's scary, right? Because that means we have to trust that we're going to be okay.
Right. We really have to trust and learn to let go and not worry. And I know in times when certain circumstances, it's hard to do that, but I'm learning how to do that more and more each day, and just really living with the belief that everything is unfolding, no matter how it looks. Everything is unfolding perfectly, and everything that I encounter is working in my favor, and just for my highest good. So just really feeling that instead of just saying it, but really feeling that, and things usually do work out well, you know, when
100%,
you carry that mindset.
Absolutely. And even through our chaos and our most traumatic times, in the end, if we look back, in the end, it worked out. Something worked out, something unfolded. Like everything's always working out for us, even in the middle of disaster.
Right.
You know, and that's I think it's important to have to figure out what you believe, like whether it's you believe in God or angels or something that is a higher from a higher dimension, right? That you can trust that they're always going to be there to support you. And for me, it's the angelic realm. You know, they're the ones who ask for help. They're the ones I know I'm going to be okay because I've got them beside me, behind me, all around me.
Yeah, in me. Yeah.
In me,
I call that, I like to call that just finding your own truth and resonating with it.
Absolutely.
And finding your truth, because what resonates with you may not resonate with someone else. And I've learned not to judge anybody else's truth, but to you know, because what if it's helping someone to grow. My question is to people though, I ask them, is what you're believing, regardless whether it's something that you consider spiritual, whatever the titles, I can't name all the titles, or religious or whatever. Is it genuinely, and you don't have to even answer this question to me, but in the silence of your own home, your own mind, is what you're believing genuinely? Are you really resonating with it? And is it genuinely bringing you peace, helping to bring you peace and happiness? Is it really doing that? And oftentimes people confuse their intuition and their voice with what they have, what has been programmed in their mind by other people, other people's voices, other people's beliefs, traditions, and what other family has said. But you have to figure out a way to silence yourself, get out of your own way, silence all that chatter, that extra chatter, and really listen to that God, those angels, that spirit, that intuition, your heart, that voice within to guide you. That's absolutely. I firmly believe that. Yes.
I couldn't agree more. And I think, when I got sick, I was so confused, and I wasn't aligned with who I really was. Things I thought, the things I said and felt and did, they didn't all align. And when we don't align to our own frequency, to our true essence, that's when we create ripples in our vibration and we create chaos in our life.
Right.
And I remember when the next day, the doctor and a physician came in to see me, right, to give me a diagnosis and to tell me what treatment I needed to have. And when the physician spoke, and this was really mortifying to hear for me, he said to me, because Luke, what happened was my whole face was drooped, mouth,
right.
Eye was wide open because the nerves were blocked. Okay, yes. So I couldn't close my eye. So the physician, he said to me, what we can do is we can sew your eye shut to prevent damage. And in that moment,
sew your eye shut?
Sew my eye shut.
Oh my goodness.
That was
I can imagine how you felt when you heard that too.
Yeah, that was his first recommendation. Now, I
My
was in a
goodness.
state of fear. I'd never heard of anyone going into hospital and coming out with a paralyzed face, right?
Right.
And in that moment, it was, and thank God for that man. Thank God that he came in and he suggested such an absurd thing, because
Right.
it rocked me. It rocked me
Yes.
to wake up. And I said, oh no, I'm not going to, I thought to myself, I'm not going to do that. I didn't even answer him. I just looked at him. But inside of me, I thought, there is no way in hell I'm going to do that. I'll find a way to keep my eyes shut. Right.
Right.
And I
I'll put
thought,
a patch over it or something,
well, that's what
but
I had
I'm
to do.
not going to let you sew it.
I had to tape it and put a patch over it and all sorts
Right.
of things, right? But in that moment, I was like, I am taking my healing into my own hands.
Right.
I'm not going to listen to any doctor, any physician that suggests something that shakes me like that ever again.
Yes. Or that
Right?
you just don't feel comfortable at all doing.
No.
Right.
Right. And that's what I did. Like, of course, my doctor said to me, you need to go on steroids, you need to go on antiviral. I did all of that. Yeah.
Right.
To reduce inflammation and all of that. But moving forward, I made a promise to myself. I didn't care if it was a natural therapist or a Western medicine doctor. I was like, I'm not doing any of it if it doesn't feel right to me.
Right.
Okay. I'm not
Exactly.
doing it. I don't care who you are. I'm not going to do it if it is out of alignment with who I am and what I want.
Right. That wouldn't have felt, I'm not sure that would have been in alignment with anybody, but
no, that's right. No. So
yeah.
So thank God for him, because he shook me so hard that I woke up, right? And I was like, I will find a way. I will find a way to heal from this by following what feels right to me. And that's what I did. And I made a promise to myself that no matter what, I wasn't going to stop until I was 100% recovered. Right. Now, I was paralyzed for 3 months before I saw any signs of recovery. Wow. So in that time, when I would get up in the middle of the night to breastfeed my daughter, I would think, oh, what have I done? Like, how did I get here? Because I knew I'd made myself sick with my emotions. Right. Yeah, by suppressing my emotions, because I believe all physical illness starts from an emotional level.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the brain, everything, right? And yes, I had some physical stuff going on at the time too. So it was a combination, but I knew that I'd gotten here by myself. I knew that I'd gotten here, that I had, it's almost like I had unconsciously brought this on to wake me up so I could go on to live my best life, right? So in the middle of the night, when I would sit there feeding Sophie, thinking about how much of an idiot I was, because I used to take for granted the fact that I could blink and smile. Right.
Yes.
I started to hear Louise Hay's voice in my head going, you can heal. You can heal. Right. And then I'd hear Wayne Dyer's voice in my head going, there's a solution to every problem. And so I had to really start believing that I could heal. Right.
And seeing yourself healed, I'm sure.
Yes. And
seeing
I was
and feeling yourself heal.
Yeah. Right. So I would spend hours a day meditating, listening to frequency, visualizing my nerves firing up and waking up, and, trying to find practitioners who could help me. And I struggled to do that, and fear would creep in. I'd be like, shit, Anthea, like, yeah, you're doing all this, but what if it doesn't work, right? You've never done anything this profound before. So what makes you think it's going to work now? The fear was hardcore, and I had to really push it out. Right. I could not let the fear control me anymore. Right. And I think what pushed me through was my daughter, my eldest daughter, Olivia, who was 20 months at the time. She would come up to me and she'd just stroke my paralyzed face like this. And she'd go, oh, mama. And her look was like, what have you done to yourself? Right. And she started copying me. So she would only smile with half of her mouth, and she would only talk with half of her face. And I was like, oh my God, if I don't change the way I'm living my life, if I don't sort myself out, she's going to go down the same path that I went down. Right. So she was the driving factor to the transformation. She was the one that kept me accountable, because I was like, she's going to copy everything I do. If I live like a victim, she's going to copy me. If I have a negative mindset, because kids copy everything you do. And
that's right. It's more what you do and the energy you send off more than what you verbally say. It's like you said, it's what you do, the example you set. So yes, exactly.
Yeah. But the fear, the fear was suffocating.
Right.
And I had to find a way to overcome that. And I had to just keep going, right? Because we go like this when we're healing. We're like, yes, I can do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then we consistently do stuff. And then when we don't see results, we're like, oh, I'm
That fear
tired.
starts to creep in, and you
Yeah,
got to try to
I'm
convince
tired.
yourself. Well, you have to convince yourself that that's not your reality, that
Yes.
fear is just something that's just not you.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. I know that.
Yeah. And my mom too, she's really religious, Greek Orthodox, and she would say to me, pray to God to help you. And I was like, even that didn't feel right to me, right? She's like, pray to God to help you heal.
I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim.
I'm like, yeah. No, I'm like, no, you know what? I'm going to ask him to show me how I can be a better person.
Right.
Even if I stay like this, I'm just going to ask him to show me how I can be a better person. And that's what I started doing.
Right.
Right. Because, it felt like victim mentality to me.
Right. Yes. I usually get into the, excuse me. I usually get into, in a situation like that, what I've learned to do is just really, like you said, embrace it and ask how you can be a better person, but more into the gratitude state of as if it's already done, if I'm already healing and thanking for my healing and everything. I get into that and basically claiming it already, and we have we co-create with inside. So, inside of our own self. So basically that's empowering. So I want to speak like an empowered person, not a person that's begging a man in the sky to please be merciful and help me. And I used to be that way. So I'm not putting anyone down that's in that mindset, because we all have to do what resonates with us and come from we can only meet from where we're from. I mean, where we are. So, I once was there where I would beg and plead, oh, please let this happen, into more of affirming and thanking and, asking, the right questions.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And I'm the same. Our gratitude is a game changer.
Right.
And when I sit down to have dinner with my girls, when we're all sitting there together, we do this gratitude exercise where we go around and we all say what we're grateful for. Right.
Wow, that's excellent. Awesome. Yes, I have a good friend of mine that when we're at his house, that's one of the things that we always sit down and do, that he makes sure that we do that. When we sit down to eat, before we eat, he has us each go around 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Saying the children and everything, saying what we're grateful for. And that is
beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful game changer, like you said.
Yeah.
Now I express gratitude upon awakening every morning. I write down a list and before I go to bed every day.
So I do the same thing. Exactly. And sometimes when I'm walking, just going for my walk, and I heard Abraham Hicks talk about this, right? And I really love it, because especially if I'm feeling a bit down and I'm feeling a bit sad or whatever it is, I go into the gratitude and I'm like, thank you to the men who laid this concrete to create this footpath for me to walk on, the men who laid it 60, 70 years ago, whoever they may be. Like, I'm grateful for them for doing that for me. And I'm grateful for this beautiful flower, and I'm grateful. And it just changes your vibration, right? It puts you in this more positive state, and that's where you can manifest more beautiful experiences into your reality.
Yes. And that's amazing that you say that, because part of my my gratitude is I try to say different things. Sometimes I say the same things, over and over, but I try to stay aware of the little things. Like you said, I'm thankful for even me being able to blink my eyes. I'm thankful for being able to move my fingers, for every organ in my body, for just being able to walk, being able to exercise, being able to breathe, enjoying fresh air, just things like that.
Yeah.
You don't have to think hard.
No.
To be grateful. You don't. Yeah. And I usually start out with, thank you for this new day. And thank you for the amazing news that's coming to me today. So I'm expecting greatness
Yes.
to come. To
Yes. I
hear
love
great
it.
things.
Yeah.
Yes. So
I love it.
yeah.
I do the
So
same.
yeah, we're
Our words are so powerful.
powerful.
They're literally magic. And so, and I keep trying to explain this to my clients and to the people that follow me, because, when you say something negative about yourself, right? When you say, I'm so silly, you're talking that into reality. You're going to do more silly things, right? But when you say, like you just said, I'm abundant. I'm excited for this day. Like, I wonder what's going to happen to me today, right? You're just opening up this door for amazing things to happen to you, right? One thing I've started saying is love comes to me with ease. Love finds me every day. Love comes to me. Love finds me, right? And I started doing that this week, right? And I was like
Love
doing
that.
it every
Love
day. Yeah.
finds me. I love that.
Love finds me, right? And love comes in any form. It comes from a stranger smiling at us on the street, So
Exactly.
anyway, so I went for a walk with my girls, and it started raining, and we came home, and we opened the letterbox, and there were some lollipops wrapped in ribbon from our neighbor, right, in the letterbox.
So
And I was like,
you manifested
oh,
that. You drew
there's a
that to
lot,
you.
right? Yeah. And then half an hour later, there was someone the girls are like, Mummy, there's someone at the door. And I go, and it's my other neighbor, and he's got a bag of lemons. He goes, do you want some lemons? And I go, I'd love some lemons, And it was like, that's the door that I've opened. By being in that vibration, by affirming that love is coming to me, And so I think it's important to teach people that.
Right here. Why I have you here on this show, I'm going to write that down because I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
This is my affirmation book. I get a notebook and I write present. I write the morning gratitude and the evening gratitude. So I do that every day. But I'm going to write that down, what you just said, as a reminder, because I believe that when things stand out to you and resonate, no matter where you get the message from other people, take it seriously. And
100%.
that right there, yeah.
100%. And so the other day, I'll tell you another story. The other day, I watched TikTok. I love TikTok because it's everyday people sharing their lives, right? And there was this lady on there, and she was sharing how her boyfriend sends her all these morning messages. And I'm a sucker for a morning message, right? Like, I just love a morning message, especially if it's someone I'm dating, right? And I was like, oh God, I was like, I want a morning message. Well, the next morning, someone that I'd connected with in the Bell's palsy group that I created when I got sick, he's in Australia too. He got Bell's palsy as well. We stayed friends. He sent me this beautiful morning message the next day, and it said, good morning. I hope you have a beautiful day. I love you. And I was like, and we had all these love hearts in it. And I was like, I got it. I asked for it and I got it.
You got it. You set the intention. And it came from a place of love to begin with, and your emotions were in it, and it manifested. That's right.
Yeah, but we get fixated on, it has to come from a lover. It has to come from my mother. It has to come from, but if we just are open to receiving from anywhere and everyone, it comes to us, and that love can fill you up the same way it can come from, if it came from a lover,
Exactly. Yes, that's beautiful. And you're just setting these amazing intentions for yourself, and it's not a coincidence that they're showing up in your experience. Just like I set the intention prior to developing this platform, and the intentions to draw amazing people from all around the world, and that's exactly what's happening. I can't name all the countries of that the people are from that I talk to on a regular basis, and it's just amazing. I set that intention, and that's exactly my next intention that I've set, is that it will continue to expand, and more people will become aware of this show, and just
beautiful
magnify not only myself, but the amazing extraordinary people that I have on here, and just the messages and the amazing words and intentions that they have for uplifting the vibration of the planet, and just helping people in different ways reach the next level of their higher self. So it's just beautiful, and it's exactly it's unfolding exactly how I set it out and how I saw it doing. I saw this, you know, it happening this way.
Yeah, it's beautiful because he's like, your success is inevitable, right? Because
Right.
it comes from a really authentic place.
Right.
And you can tell that from your energy. Like you're really passionate about it and you're present. Yeah.
Right.
You're not starting off all over the place. You're here with me, like the power of connection,
Right.
right?
It's just us right now. And
Yeah.
I've learned through my journey to be present, quit worrying about, okay, everything else, what bills I have to pay and tomorrow, or I'm focused in and in tune with this conversation and everything that you are saying right now. My mind is not wandering, not one bit to, okay, when I get done with this, I got to go do this. No, I'm enjoying this moment. I'm not even guaranteed, and not to sound negative, but I'm not even guaranteed the next moment. So I'm enjoying this one here. I'm thankful for this one here.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yes.
I hear you. You know, like, and it's like, if this condition that I had taught me anything, it was that I never wanted to get old and look back on my life up until that point and regret not appreciating and being grateful for what I had. Right? So exactly. that taught me that. So now I live more in the present moment. And, you know, when I have those beautiful moments, I'm there.
Right.
Even when I have the not so beautiful moments, I'm there.
Yeah. Observing,
you know?
being the observer of those. Yeah. I'm learning too, not to cut you off, but you're inspiring me to say things too. Yeah. Even though during those not beautiful moments, I'm learning to observe and see what I can learn from that, and how can I come up with a solution, to move past whatever uncomfortable place I may be. Whether, I feel like at the time I realized whether I drew this to me or not, I still want a solution, because no one wants to stay in an uncomfortable place, even though uncomfortable places often propel us to do big things. Yeah. You don't want to stay in that actual uncomfortable place. So right away, my mind is geared to look for a solution and express appreciation, and to know that this is not my reality. This is not where I'm staying. This is something I'm evolving from. Yeah. Growing through. Yeah. And that's it. That's how I look at things now.
Yeah. 100%.
And it's not saying that I don't have my moments, that I am unbalanced with myself, but at least I am aware to figure out a way to dust myself off. Okay, you've cried enough. Now dust yourself off and get back on track. Get back in balance with yourself. Get back in balance with your peace. Listen to your voice. Talk to the universe and talk to God, the universe, and get things back right. Yeah. 100%. Yeah, get out of your own way, get away from that fear and that doubt, and be who you are supposed to be, a person full of love and courage and faith and optimism and just everything. That's who you are. So that's who I when I talk to myself, I tell myself that when I'm going through things, this is who you are. That's not who you are. This is who you are. So yes, so that's amazing. So let me ask you, if you don't mind me asking, when did that condition finally go away on you? And when was the moment that it went away? Did you just wake up one day and it was gone, or what happened?
No, I wish that had happened. No. So I still have damage because I was paralyzed for so long. I'm probably about 93% recovered, right?
Right.
But it was a long process for me. I tried many different therapists. So I remember the day at the 3-month mark. Right. Because every morning I would wake up and I would try to close my eye and I would try to move my face. Right. And one morning I felt the corner of my mouth flicker, like ever so slightly. And I jumped out of bed and I went to the mirror, and it was like a flicker, because nerves take a long time to heal. Right. So I was so excited. I was like, this is the beginning of my healing, And at the 7-week mark, I went to see this homeopath. And he was like this, I called him a wizard, because he was like, he had this rundown shop, and his room was just this pitch black room with hundreds of bottles of homeopathic remedies.
Right.
Right?
Just like a real wizard.
A real wizard, right?
In the movies.
In the movies.
Yes.
And he was around, he was asking me all these questions, and he was making me this potion. Yeah.
Right.
And he was asking me all these questions, and he was pouring all this stuff, and he goes, drink this. So I drank it, and he's like, can you feel anything yet? And I go, no. And he goes, you will. And he kept on going, and he started to make me some other stuff. Now, after about 15 minutes, I started to feel what felt like a river running through my whole face. Like it was like it was a river, a stream running through the nerves in my face. Now, I didn't have, but I felt something, and I hadn't felt anything in 7 weeks.
Wow.
Right.
So I bet you that right there, I can imagine how excited you were at that moment.
It was because he was the first, actually, he was the first one that I called, and I said, I have Bell's palsy. And he goes, all right, love. And I'm like, can you help me? And he's like, of course I can. And I go, what do you mean? Because everyone had said, well, I've never heard of Bell's palsy. I might be able to help you. I don't know if I can. Some people have never heard of it, right? But this guy was like, you're going to come in, I'm going to give you medicine, and you're going to get better. And I was like, oh, I was shocked.
So he's already putting that idea in your mind for you to even believe yourself and start that process yourself.
He was my earth angel, right? Because it wasn't, everything he'd given me it helped my soul, but nothing had helped get me movement. Right. So he checked in with me. I went back again to see him. He gave me more stuff. And then right before Christmas, he sent me a package with all these different little homeopathic pills in it. Right. And he said, he was like, I've got to find a way to help you. It was something like that. Right. And it wasn't until I got to the third bottle that I started to see improvement. Right.
You started to move.
He didn't give up on me. Right. I didn't give him any more money. He was just an earth angel who wanted to help me, because he was like, you're my mate. He goes, what if I was in your position?
Right.
Yeah. But I tried all these other things as well. And that was just the beginning, Luke, right? Like I spent the next, and I'm still going, but I spent the next good 4 years trying different modalities and different therapies to help me heal. So I did kinesiology, I did acupuncture. I was fortunate enough to meet this acupuncturist at the 6-month mark who smashed my mindset. Yeah. So I was seeing this lady in America who has a clinic for people with Bell's palsy, and she said, I want you to go find an acupuncturist to put needles in your face. And I was like, oh, geez. That was one of the moments where I was like, geez, I really don't want to do that, but I should probably listen to her because she's got a clinic and she knows what she's talking about. Right. And I said, I'm just going to call him and inquire. And he said, yeah, Anthea, we can do that. But he's like, in traditional Chinese medicine, we don't put needles where the problem is. Right.
Right.
Needles there. And I was like, okay, that sounds better to me, because I don't want to put needles in my face.
In your face. Right.
So I went to see him, and he was just starting out his business, and he put needles in my ankle. And the minute the needle in my ankle, I felt this rush of blood to my face.
Wow.
It was profound, right? But he was like, your body's not the problem, your mindset is.
Yes.
And I called him my Mr. Miyagi, like from the Karate Kid.
Yes.
He was my Mr. Miyagi, because I would go to his house every Saturday, and I would sit there for 3 hours listening to him while he drilled me about how I was thinking incorrectly and how I was perceiving my life in the wrong way.
Right. Wow.
And
amazing. And it's amazing how you drew these amazing people there that were genuinely, that are genuinely compassionate to you, and compassionate people that want to help.
He drilled me. He was hardcore. He was brutal, right? Because I was like, like I had to really swallow a lot of hard truths about how I was living my life.
Right.
But he didn't give up on me, and he taught me the power of the mind. He just implemented what Louise Hay taught me when I was 15, that you can heal your life. Right. And I was like, wow, this is how I'm going to help people.
Exactly. Yes. See, that's amazing too. That through your difficult moments, through your process. That's another reason why that inspired you to want to help other people with their, wherever they're having difficulties in their life. And if it wasn't for you going through this, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but you wouldn't be as compassionate and passionate about that. And you've learned a lot along the way. You've gathered a lot of experience and knowledge and wisdom and insight with working with this person and that person. So all that right there, you cannot replace that with just reading it through a book. You actually went through these things and went and saw these people in these different places doing, the acupuncture and where to go, and the guy that made the concoctions, the wizard guy, and the man speaking to you and telling you about your thoughts. You now have some of this knowledge in you. That's now part of you. The solution is now in you now.
Yeah. And that's what I usually teach people, what I learned through, everything I've gone through, I use that to help others. I don't teach anything that I don't know anything about or that I haven't actually been through myself, because that's what I did. And so people seem to trust me because I teach them what I did. Because I was once in that place of deep pain, Yes. So, yeah.
And I think everyone will resonate with someone like you that has been through so much. Instead of oftentimes when we get help from people, it seems like we're getting help from someone. We don't resonate with people that it seems like they haven't really been there. That it just seems like they might have read a book about it, but they really don't know. It's just some kind of different connection that you get with someone that can actually share with you, something that's similar or worse than what you are going through. And they are here to help you through their experience. That is awesome. When you teach from a place of experience, that is a different level of helping.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was talking last night with my cousin, and he said, why is it some people study the same things and one goes off and starts to do it and help others, and the other person doesn't really do it? And he was like, it's pain. It's because in that pain that part of me drives you to want to help others to eliminate their pain. And
exactly.
As uncomfortable as pain is, I really believe that it drives us to change.
It is. And I can attest to that. I can resonate with that, because that's what really started me in my awakening, in my reaching towards my higher self and my self-discovery, spiritual, mental, I got to a place where it was painful to be, and the pain of staying there was worse than the discomfort of changing. So once you reach to that, once you reach that point, and like you said, something shakes you up, oftentimes that's at a pivotal point of what I believe a pivotal point in our lives, that we can slump deeper into depression and victimhood, or we can start to slowly climb out and become empowered and really discover ourselves and the power and the strength that we really have. And that's what you have tapped into, your inner strength, your inner guidance system, your passions, your gifts. And that usually comes about after that something terrible has happened.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. So while I have you here, I'm going to share all your links when I upload this video. And of course, I'll send it to you, the raw MP4 file. I don't mind saying that here live on the show, so that you can upload it and do whatever you want with it. I have no problem with that. Share it, or do whatever you want with it. I know you're going to do great things with it. And I'm thankful that you want to. But while you're here, how can people find you? if you can just share with us.
Yeah, sure. So I'm on all the platforms. So YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. If you want to reach out and like connect with me and have a conversation about what I do, the best way to do that is on Facebook Messenger under Anthea Spark. But you can check me out. I mean, YouTube is got a lot of my stuff. I've run a lot of guided activation meditations to help people to raise their vibration. I talk about healing your inner child. I do card readings on YouTube as well. So that's got quite a wide range.
What's that YouTube channel again?
Anthea Spark.
Oh, Anthea. So it's www.youtube.com/Anthea Spark.
Yeah, if you just go to YouTube and type in Anthea Spark.
Anthea Spark, you'll come up. Okay.
But on Instagram, Anthea Spark, and on Facebook, Anthea Spark Soul Centered Coach. So you can follow my daily inspirations on Instagram and Facebook.
Wow, thank you for sharing that, and thank you for just sharing, just a bit of your journey and being vulnerable to share with us what you've been through. I think that's amazing, and that right there, I think people, I know I have that I connect with that, and I want to hear more of your story now, and I want to know what you do, and so thank you everyone for watching also. And just before we go, do you have before we conclude, do you have any concluding words, ideas, anything you'd like to say before we conclude this segment?
Oh, well, I want to thank you firstly for having me on your show and for holding space for me to share my story and to connect with me in that way. I really love it. I love connecting with like-minded people and having really deep and honest conversations like this. So thank you to you. And, I think if you're for the audience, like if you're in a place in your life where you feel stuck and you feel overwhelmed and you feel lost and you just don't know what to do, the most important thing is for you to think about what it is, what's one thing you can do every day that's going to make you feel good, right? Just one little thing. Because what can happen is we can get so stuck and addicted to being in this place that it becomes comfortable to be uncomfortable, that we fear any type of change.
Right.
And we get addicted to those negative emotions, just like we get addicted to drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever it is. Okay,
because they're familiar. Yes. No, let me let you finish. You're saying it just right. I don't need to say anything at this point. Go ahead, Anthea.
So if you can find one little thing that you can do every day that you can say, wow, I'm really proud of myself for doing that, right? And that could be a walk around the block for 15 minutes. It can be sitting down and doing a 10-minute meditation. It's got to be something that's going to be easy for you to do every single day, okay? And then what you do is you show yourself approval for doing that. You're like, wow, even though I have all this other stuff going on, I did that one little thing and I've consistently done it for 3 days. I'm really proud of myself. Look at me go, right? You got to really start giving yourself that positive approval, that praise. And then what will happen is you will slowly become addicted to feeling good. And then more and more, you might add another thing to your list of daily things to do that's going to make you feel good. Today, I'm going to have a juice. I'm going to make myself a fresh juice. And then you start to feel really good from having that juice. And now your vibration is rising and you don't want to go back to that. So you got to do baby steps. Right? Because a lot of people are like, right, I'm going to go for a run, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to eat healthy. And we get so overwhelmed by the change that we're like, hey, hang on a minute, I don't know how to be that person over there who doesn't sit in this pain. Right. And we go back to the pain. We go back to the comfort of the discomfort. So if you're struggling, start with one tiny little thing that can help you. And something, if I may share, I created an affirmation track. It's on my YouTube channel. It's called Mindset Magic. I created this to help my clients wake up and install a new positive program in their mindset, right? Because when you wake up and you start thinking negative thoughts, you're setting up your day, right? But when you wake up and you install new positive expectations, like what we spoke about earlier,
Right.
and you listen to the affirmation track, you're telling your mind that you want to have positive experiences. And your mind is so powerful that it will create that for you.
Exactly.
So I get all of my clients to listen to that every single morning. It's a 7-minute affirmation track, and it's like a meditation, right? And it's a really beautiful way to start your day. So if you don't know what to do, if you can try and do that, that will help you completely change your outlook, your energy, and your attitude towards your own life.
Wow.
So that,
Amazing.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to ask you while we're here right now, can you send me after this segment, send me the link? I know I'll look at your YouTube channel, but if you could just send me a quick link to that meditation, I'd like to check it out.
So, yeah.
I love meditation. I love listening to guided meditations. Yes.
Okay. And you'll like some of, I'll send you one that I did on Friday night. I did a global timeline shift.
Yes. Please do. Please do. I love listening to guided meditations. I usually listen to guided meditations from the likes of, like you said, Louise Hay, Wayne Dyer, Jason Stevenson. That's a good friend of mine as well. Just Stuart Wilde, Paul Santisi. There's a lot of people out there that have guided meditations that are just Bryon Scott, some beautiful meditations out there. So yes, I want to hear you. I want to add yours to my list.
Oh, I hope you enjoy it.
Yes, I'm sure I will. But thank you again for being on this platform with me, sharing your time with me, and just sharing your beautiful authenticity and your energy, and just thank you for what you're doing for yourself, for those around you, and may you continue to just grow, flourish, and prosper in all areas of your life. So I'm thankful.
Thanks for creating a platform and sharing, you know, what all these amazing people around the world do with other people. So yeah, thank you.
Right. Thank you. And I'm so grateful that I can do that, and that I'm attracting all these beautiful souls. I'm so thankful that I have to pinch myself at times and say, wow, I'm resonating with all these beautiful people.
Amazing.
So, yes. Thank you everyone for watching. I know you are enjoying this as much as I have. Thank you very much. I send everyone peace, love, happiness, prosperity, health, happiness, just everything, and just faith and strength and courage. Thank you. Remember, start your day, in the middle of your day, gratitude. Thank you very much. Love you, and I'll see you soon here on Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved.